Tradition, dun, 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 tradition. Greetings and welcome to another episode of One Take. And apologies for the very poor rendition of an excellent song from an excellent movie and musical, Fiddler on the Roof. But we are here today to talk about traditions. So, when I was a kid, we used to have all of the major holidays over at my grandparents, my mom's parents. All the family would come over. It was a great time. Easter breakfast, Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas Eve dinner, presents, all that fun stuff. And I really loved all of them. But Thanksgiving always stood out because, well, it was focused around food. Frankly, it was good. And it was a little more relaxed than Christmas. And you didn't have to dress up like Easter. Let's be honest. I just wanted it easier and to stuff my face. But we would have Thanksgiving dinner, afternoon, whatever, at my grandparents all the time when I was growing up. And it was great. My whole family was there. But as my aunts and uncles, their families grew, it got to be too much for my grandparents and frankly, more responsibility than they needed. They earned the right to take it easy a little bit. So we started having them over at my other aunt and uncles, each a different house every year. And it was fantastic. It was still great. It was awesome. Food was good. Gravy was there. All that stuff. It was awesome. Live video. And then suddenly one day it wasn't. My mom informed us rather randomly. I think I was probably in eighth grade, freshman in high school, that we were having Thanksgiving dinner at a restaurant. And she tried to sell me on it that my grandparents were going to be there. So it wasn't going to be that different. And I was pissed. I was furious. I was angry. I was angry at her. I was angry at tradition gods. I was angry at everyone. And I know you find it hard, might find it hard to believe, but I was a really good kid. I was rarely a problem for my mom. My parents divorced when I was around 4. I had an older and a younger sister, and it was just the 4 of us, my 2 sisters, me, and my mom. And I decided at an early age that I wasn't going to be an additional problem to her. And besides, I was a middle child and only boy. No one knew I was there anyway. And yes, that explains the loud voice and the need sometimes to be the center of attention. But this isn't a therapy session. Anyway, it irritated me and it bothered me for a long time, actually, until I was an adult and started having new things and traditions of my own. And now I look back and I feel kind of like an asshole for it. But it hit me that traditions, we don't traditionally know where they start. We don't even know specifically or necessarily why we like them so much or we enjoyed them so much, other than a particular emotion it brings about to us. And that's the key. Traditions aren't about the acts, they're about the emotion associated with it. For me as a child, those few days a year were the only calm ones, the times that the world just seemed right out of my entire year. So it was more than just a meal, it was more than just hanging out with my family, it was everything. Which is why for years afterwards, even until now, I have to have, I don't care what else we do for Thanksgiving. Well, actually, I need a turkey gravy and mashed potatoes. But anyway, but outside of that, a can of cranberry sauce and the blended, the smooth, whatever, not the whole, because that's what my grandparents always have. And I have to have it. I don't even need to eat it necessarily. It just needs to be out there on the table. And it's glory, it's predefined line, so you can portion it out glory because it reminds me of them. It reminds me of those times. It reminds me of the calmness that I had in years of uncertainty and hard times. And that's really what tradition is. And we can't really pinpoint where most of it comes from, but we get damn beholden to it and we don't want to change it. Or when we realize that, oh man, I am not doing these things anymore. We used to do this. We feel bad. We want to beat ourselves up because of it. But the reality is that we've moved on from those, but in a very good way because they're emotionally based. I still cling to a lot of traditions. This is my Clark Griswold. I have to show it. I'm from St. Louis. I don't want to get beaten up for wearing a General Blackhawks jersey. Go Blues. But anything Christmas Vacation has become a tradition in my house. And I used to be pretty adamant about when we'd watch it, which was a lot, but particularly on Thanksgiving Day. Apparently, this is around Thanksgiving a lot. And over the last year or two, I've gotten a lot easier on that because that emotion, that happiness that reminds me of during tougher times has been replaced by so many great times that I want it, but I don't need it. And that's how we need to look at traditions because there are so many out there. We're afraid that if we don't cling to traditions, we're going to forget or miss out or misrepresent things that happened in the past. I cling to so many things that are associated with my dad. I was asked the other day if I ever did anything with my mom, but my dad's gone. My mom's not. And so I do things, I watch things, whatever, because it reminds me of him. Not only were the times fun, but the memories are good. But the reality is that his memory, those memories, all those traditions, they live on in us, in everything that we've done, and everything that we've become. So by me not following or keeping up to traditions of 10 years ago or 20 or 5 or 40, I'm not forsaking those. I'm not disliking those. I'm not saying they suck or they don't matter. It means that I've grown and I've replaced it with new traditions. I still love and embrace that, but I've moved forward. And the same happens within business. And so many times we as business professionals and companies, we cling to processes, we cling to traditions because we feel they identify us. We feel without them, we're not whole and we're not the company that we've been. We're not the persona that we're giving out. And that's just wrong. Think about it. People you worked with years ago, you had a great time with, and you'd probably love to relive a couple of those memories. I know I would. I've had a bunch of great times, especially with friends back in the Bank of America days. But I don't want to go back there. And no offense to them, no offense to the time. I learned from it. I moved on, I moved forward, and I benefited from it. And all along, I've created new traditions, I've created new companions, new ways of doing things, new successes, all those things. So those traditions don't die. We don't we aren't foregoing them by not doing them. We're actually living them every day. And every moment we push forward, and every new tradition that we have, and every new person that we come across, and every new thing, group of people, whatever, friends that we work with, any of that, they're not gone. They're here, and they'll always be here. And they'll continue to be surrounded by more because that's the way it is. That is what true tradition is. So get out there, make it a great day, have a Merry Christmas, create some new memories, and more importantly, remember that you're creating new traditions with those. And it doesn't mean that the other ones have gone away. That just means that they've turned into something else. Take care.